as soon as trees, bushes or flowers start blooming, our garden is being populated by lots and lots of beautiful butterflies. They come in different sizes and many beautiful colors and patterns. Some of them even tell you a little story, like this one that obviously just escaped the attack from maybe a lizard that only took a bite out of his wing. Obviously, these fragile little creatures are completely on their own. You never see parents feeding them or protecting them from all the various predators that go after him, like birds, spiders, and all kinds of different insects. It's interesting that you always only see the grown-up adult butterfly. There's never ever a baby butterfly of the same species. So there must be something to it that, well, we have maybe heard of, but maybe never seen. We know that birds are laying eggs, and then the little baby birds hatch in a well-protected nest, because they are tiny little birds that are completely helpless. The feathers still have to grow before they will ever open their wings. They are unable to go for food, so the parents feeding them until they grow up and make their first flight.
On a winter's day, in the rain, white bird in a golden cage, alone. The leaves blow.
Maybe we will find out how that works with the butterflies. Like in any mating ritual, the whole thing starts with some flirting. It is of course different from species to species, but it always leads to one thing: having some offspring. This couple of pretty small butterflies has two completely different patterns on the male and the female, so it's easy to distinct them while they are dancing on the leaf. They are so completely busy and involved with their ritual that I can easily put it on my finger to have a good close-up of their fertilizing act. They even find the time to clean themselves a little bit while they're stuck together. And if nothing is really going on anymore, they do more like a little stimulation. But once everything is done the proper way, the female starts laying some eggs. So we can watch this couple having the first step to create their offspring. One by one, the eggs are attached to the leaves of some host plants. Every species has a special host plant, so as soon as the little larvae start hatching from the eggs, they have something to eat. Right after hatching, the larvae or caterpillars invade the host plant and start eating, and that's all they're gonna do for quite some time. It can be pretty damaging to the host plant, but normally they recover after a while. The only thing the caterpillars seem to have mercy on is eggs of their own kind, because somehow they seem to know that this will be brothers and sisters of their own species. For a certain time, that is of course different to every species, the caterpillars have nothing else to do than run around and find something to eat. So they get big and fat and ready for their next step. This is a pretty impressive big caterpillar that is really munching away the leaves like nothing. And of course, if you have so much food, what goes in, of course, has to go out again. Once the caterpillar has reached its final size, some hormones make them stop feeding and look for an adequate place to face the next step of the long journey to become a butterfly. Now that the right spot is found at the ceiling of our terrace, the caterpillar slowly brings itself into a vertical hanging position. sometimes still moving to shake off some possible enemies, but in general hanging and waiting for the real metamorphosis. The only thing now is that the spikes at the point where it is attached start opening up like in a clock until they are more or less in a 180-degree position. Now some peristaltic movement starts, and then all of a sudden the skin splits, and with more of these peristaltic movements, the outcoming pupa or chrysalis is shifting the old skin towards the top. Of course, the time until this fascinating process of transformation starts is very, very long. It is still worth waiting all the time until this unique process is starting. It looks like it's really hard work, but imagine trying to get out of an overall with your hand and feet tied up. So this is quite an amazing thing that is happening here. Now that the skin is completely wrinkled up at the very top, it looks like the fresh chrysalis tries to get rid of it. And now, have you seen that? Now here it comes again. It goes out of the skin and is attaching itself outside the skin. So now it really starts to dance, to shake off the old skin. There it goes. And this is all which is left over from the old caterpillar. Still have the little spikes and the head, and the whole skin is wrinkled together. Here we have a different species hanging and doing exactly the same metamorphosis. You can already see a little bit the shape of some real insect with the little wings and sort of a head. Now you can even see how all these little spikes are pushed together, and now again trying to get rid of the useless suit. Oops, this one went wrong, but with a little bit of glue I helped this one. Here we have different stages. The one in the middle is already transformed and the other ones are still waiting. Whilst inside the pupa, the insect will excrete some digestive juices which destroy most of the larva's body. But some cells stay intact, and out of those, the growth of the new adult butterfly will start. using the nutritions of the broken down larva. One can imagine that being completely motionless, you cannot defend yourself against anything. So pretty often these pupa are eaten up by some other insects, or they even lay their own eggs into the pupa, so they take the chance to have some good food rich in proteins. But if everything went well and nobody ate or destroyed the pupa anyhow, then after some time a new butterfly is born. Now the rigid shell of the chrysalis cracks open and the butterfly crawls out, starts unfolding its wings and excretes some excess dye that it doesn't need anymore for putting color to the scales on its wings. In this stage, they are still very vulnerable because the wings are still very, very soft. Only during some time they sort of pump blood in the veins and have to have the wings hanging down so they can dry and stiffen in the right shape and position. Here we have another one hatching. This pupa choose to stand upright instead of hanging down, but that doesn't make any difference for the butterfly. And once again we can witness the very, very first steps of the butterfly emerging from the pupa. The wings still completely crinkled up because otherwise they wouldn't have fit in there, but unfolding slowly, turning more and more into the shape of the final butterfly. The wings are still wet and very soft, so they fly around like wet paper in the breeze, but they will eventually stiffen up by the pumped in blood and will be ready for the first flight. It takes between 1 and 3 hours until the wings are really stiff and hard enough for the first movements. Besides enjoying the beautiful colors and shapes of all the different butterflies, we now might even appreciate them a little bit more, now that we know what it takes to become a butterfly.
Carry me along to its end, where I begin. Long summer dreams sliding around my mind. Those long summer dreams are leaving me behind. Hot summer day, carry me along to its end. circling like a river over a brightly colored stone, breaking up my soul and taking part of me home.